All right, folks, we are back. Just looking to see what's moving out there heading into the market close right now, coming off of our afternoon meeting. Just got the screen up, the mic up, and we'll get the webcam back up here right now. So for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, appreciate you joining us here right now. I'm actually just about to jump back inside our live trading room right now, do a bit of a simulcast here. I think they're looking to follow the LIXT trade. Here's my little restream right there. Get that out the way. All right, so that's what we're watching inside our live trading room. Let me dive in there right now and see what they're doing. All right, folks, I'm back. I'll tell you what, for all of us inside the live trading room, just jumping back into the thick of things right now. Ended up just rescheduling one of our coaching sessions right now, or a coaching session with one of our students. So Jeff making some money inside our live trading room right now, one of our platinum members here, grabbing 20 cents on the LIXT trade. There you go, Jeff, getting in right over that 2 level. Let me just do this here really quickly. I'll get my webcam up for all of us inside our live trading room here. There we go. Right back at it. Right back at it here, folks. So, right now, phenomenal pop on the LIXT. I'd love to see what's doing on Bookmap right now. I don't even think I have it up on my level 4 page yet. This thing kind of came out of nowhere, right? I mean, it was making a strong move from earlier, coming off the halts, but ended up just consolidating lower and lower. Give me a quick second here. Test 1 2 1 2. For all of us inside the live trading room, give me a quick second. Could everybody hear me? Good. From Mark, Ravina. Sweet. All right, so we're good to go there. Should be good to go on social media as well. I believe I am. So that said, let's hop right to it. All right, getting a little paranoid from our IT team. It was on them, not me. How about that? A little rarity. All right, so we keep it moving right now. LIXT, we'll take a look to see what's on level 4 right now, though, because as we bring it up, you got a resistance roughly off that 230 level, but even from there, there could still be a lot of head fakes or some shakes prior to the bigger squeeze that you'd want. So I would look to see that order around 230 get filled first. Perhaps it builds a little support roughly around 215, 217-ish. This could be. Look for a higher low off of 215, I'd say, and then see if it makes the slingshot coming up a little bit later on. All right, so we have the LAXT trade. We have the SLQT stock as well, which I'll pull up on my other screen here. I know Rich is sharing for all of you folks inside the live trading room. That's holding under 150 for right now, so there's not much of a trade on that just yet. And Cheg's doing all right, at least as far as a long, but again, I had mentioned during the meeting that I wasn't as thrilled with trying to long it unless if the markets were really looking to push up a lot higher. And we were a little reluctant of that, at least up until 315, 330. So we'll see what's ahead in just a little bit. The SLQT trade here, again, I mean, it's just got resistance off of 150, but also it seems to be off of 156, about 30,000 shares on the S that are sitting there. It's got to really flip 140, 142 or so. Maybe that's 143 even into support. There was an iceberg earlier today that ended up getting broken over. So tried holding above that price earlier, but failed to really push off of it. So it's got to at least hold over 143 again as support, the SLQT trade, that is. But otherwise, I mean, the afternoon is still pretty young. LIXT here, still holding pretty well. I would look for roughly around 215 to be a higher low area, a little support to build off of that possibly. Ended up breaking off a nice trend line that we talked about during our afternoon meeting off the highs. Ran up to 2, pulled back, held the higher low at first from there, and then broke off of the 2 level just a moment ago. So we'll look to see if this ends up re-breaking off of 225 in a little bit. Ravina says there's an echo. Ooh, uh-oh. Give me a quick second here. I don't know why that would be the case. Hopefully not too bad of an echo. I don't know what that means, Rich. Oh, there we go. It should be gone now. Should be gone now, right? There we go. All right, sweet. All right, so either way, folks, we're looking for 215 to be a strong support level here, roughly around 215, probably give or take a penny or so. But If it just slams right below that level with no looking back, then obviously, that would be a giant red flag. So, if it does shake below it as it's starting to do here, a little under and over here, see it kind of snip under and over and then look to make the slingshot up higher in a moment. So it's starting to do that. Let's see it begin to really build back up right now. I'd say 220 also pretty key. So over time, 220 will need to do the same off of from there. And we got time till 3:30 anyway. All right. All right. So we're in action right now, folks. Right? We're good to go. We have plenty of time here. I'm gonna just jump off right around 3:45 or so. Rich will clean up heading into the end of the day for you folks here, but wanted to just jump on while I could. I was feeling pretty good right now, so why not? I'll tell you a trade that was not working out, and it was not working out as soon as we finished up the afternoon meeting. So it was the AI trade off at the 23.89 level. It wasn't really as soon as we finished up the meeting. It was just pretty much going into 3 o'clock. It pulled back down to that support again, and that's just a bad sign to begin with already because it was already playing with it as support initially here. So it would utterly need to hold above this 23.89, 23.88 that we had talked about. And once it rebroke it here, there's just no looking back. So, that's just easy for me to say, well, hey, you got to play to your level. But once it breaks under that level and you get stopped out, just move on. I mean, you can get back in if it really holds well coming up after. But, if that's such a big level, it should make a pretty big move shortly after, shouldn't it? So, easy to say it, but that one was ridden off pretty quickly. Let's see if this LIXT could just hold this 215, though. Doing its job so far. Let's see this blast higher here momentarily, though. Me checking on Bookmap right now myself for any other trades that may be coming our way here. I mean, we're in pretty good hands with this LIXT. Chegg is doing a good job trying to recover. I will say Chegg is doing a good little squeeze off the 17 level, but that's all right. We're pretty occupied on this one here. Bring Bookmap back up right now for this trade level 4. Let's see what's ahead for this one. I think Chegg's actually a trend line of resistance, so we'll see how strong that trade really is coming up. But, you got a couple of iceberg orders ahead right now, 225, 230, a little in between there. A lot of orange here. So, if it really busts through it, then God bless. But, again, this is where at least off the 2 level, if you were in the trade from 2 and you're up 25 or so cents, 10% or so, you take some money and run, you scale out, do the responsible thing. That's a day's pay in one trade right there, really, 1,000 shares. So, we'll see if it could break higher. But if you had a good day already and you have some cushion money, it can go against you and be, to your disadvantage. But, that's where you could at least try and hold on longer, have better positioning. If you have a good cushion money underneath you already or hit your goal and don't mind if it's just a little less than that. If you take a loss, so be it. Then you could try and hold on a little bit longer is what I'm saying. So, it's kind of to your discretion ultimately. Now the Chegg trade really quick. I'm just looking at resistance from a trend line that I ended up seeing early this morning. It's like kind of off the lows. You have to go into like a 5-minute chart or something and just kind of stretch it out off the lows from pre-market or so early today. I think it was like kind of like that right there. I was just mentioning it was just right at trend line of resistance right there. Form of support right here should be good resistance. So, I don't know how much longer I'd expect that Chegg trade to really squeeze up and continue. Just kind of, I'm going back to the LIXT trade for right now. It's just still kind of lingering under that 230 level right now, 228, 230. So not a whole lot doing on that one just yet, really. Just checking Benzinga Pro, just the scanner there, seeing if there's anything doing on that. I got the IBIO trade again. That's on the way up towards that 150. So let me bring that up here on my book map. All right. So, there's not really much volume on the ask at 150, it seems, for the IBIO trade. So, Not to guarantee another squeeze up, but without as much resistance, then makes it a little bit easier for the stock to try and break over. So let's just see if there's any market maker refreshing around this 148, 150 price. But there's a good chance to see this try and break higher here, getting closer towards that 330 time frame coming up here too for all of us. Here we go. LIXT failing to make that bigger break higher so far. Pulling back down to 215 once more, under and over. You got the VWAP off of 207. So, is it really going to, hold 15 perfectly if the VWAP's right there? Maybe it makes one slam down to that price, then back up. Possible. I'm not in anything right now this afternoon, folks. So, I'm just going to see if this can make a nice under and over, and I could try and prep myself accordingly. I'll be transparent. I wasn't necessarily planning on going live on social media or streams here so far this afternoon until recent. I was going to very much take it easy here so far this afternoon. So I had no intent on trading. There's your slam down to the VWAP, though. There's your slam down to the VWAP, though. And right back up she goes. You know what? Let's see if this can continue from here. I would love to see this build back up over the 215. If this could hold here, this makes for a pretty good entry. If this could hold right off the 215 here, this makes for a pretty damn good entry. And at this point, it's lower risk for my day at least. So I'm going to set my stop just right under the VWAP price there. It's got to make a strong sling back up, though. You can't really have much funny business from here. It's really got to begin to pick back up this trade. If not, then, I'll get stopped out. It'll be a small loss, but that 215 was pretty damn strong. So let's see if it could really sling back up here. This LIXT right now we're talking about. Perfectly off the VWAP, might I say. So that worked out pretty much flawlessly. Dropped right down to the VWAP right off 208, 207. On Bookmap, I'm showing a white line that represents it. We're looking pretty good, though, right now, folks. Let's see this begin to make the higher high, though, soon. Tick-tock. Not the app, as in time's a ticking. SPY is pushing back on up towards the peak there when Powell was flapping his gums. So that would be nice to see that get broken over. See a really strong break of the highs heading into the afternoon. I'd love to see some big iceberg order pop up on the bid. There is one right now for the LIXT trade at 191. It popped up actually pretty damn recently, but I would love to see that get pulled and placed higher, more of like a ladder effect happening. We'll see if that does happen, but that would certainly lead the stock to make another push up higher. All right, Mark 5-cent loss on IBIO there. Yeah, I mean, with 150 as big of a level, you'd think, it's still actually held pretty nicely. You don't want to still buy under resistance technically, as little of a resistance as we sort of said was on the ask, the IBIO trade. That's where I was saying watch out for the potential of market maker refreshing, but I'll tell you, I think it just went up to 150, the IBIO. There was like no chance. It didn't even like hold there for long. It kind of just kissed it, bing, and right back down. All right, this LIXT trade, it's really got to show some good signs of life soon. We technically are getting a little bit closer to 330, so we still technically have a little time, but I mean, for a stock that's up 168%, I would either expect to see massive profit taking, or if there's that big of a move heading into the close, then perhaps if it's not going to tank, we could get that better pop. That's why I was looking for the drop first and then the squeeze back up, but now it's got to go. Just going to check some other trades out right now while I'm at it on my other screen. G-Sun, I guess, trying to go back up, but it's not like worth looking at, Rich. That AI trade keeps tanking. If you're able to get the shares to short that from the get-go, once it broke below that 23.89 like we referenced, that was like, it's easy to say, but that's the trigger point to go short. If it's not going to hold support and run up higher, then it gives you a good chance. It's hard to borrow my platform on TradeStation, so I didn't even think of it, but That's where it's just, all right, well, that could have been a great short if you were able to get the shares. But yeah, it looks like the LIXT trade, it's trying to hold, but if it's not going to do its job here, folks, I would be extremely careful. Again, it's up big already today. A lot of these stocks that are up big, one day they're down big the next. Like I'm talking 40, 50%. We saw what happened on Bed Bath Beyond, of course, but so many other trades here too. The only thing that's keeping me in this trade for LIXT is just, well, my stop, but also the fact of like, all right, well, if it's not going to stop me out and if it's going to take me to 330, then there's a chance where this can, make that better pop up higher. So I like to play to my level. I like to play to my stop, especially if I'm following my first instinct, but I always play to my level. So that 214, 215 is exactly what we were looking to see hold, and it has held. So now, come on. Let's see this make the better pop now. Come on, baby. You got 228 right there. No funny business, though. No false breakout and a down halt. Let's get this to get an up halt on the way up. Come on, buddy. We're close. Not much resistance until 270. And again, you do want to respect $2.50 as a key level here coming up. So even though there's not much volume here on the offer for 250, looking at Bookmap, I would still respect that as a level, just like IBIO at 150. Let's get a better pop here soon. Clip half out now at 41, and we're going to rock with the second half. Let's go. All right, so let's see this really begin to run now. We don't need to be perfect with taking profits, so there we go. We got an iceberg on the ask right here at 245. Just showed up, hot off the press. Big iceberg at 245 right now. 20,000 shares. I'll tell you what, I'm also not streaming just because I have a nice golden tan. It's just very conveniently timed. There you go. It's this Florida weather here. All right, so LIXT breaking over that iceberg at 245. You still got some orders out there now, 249, 250 building up. So it would be wise to take the remaining shares out right now and just jump out. But I'll tell you, we've had a pretty good day today. So it doesn't hurt me to hang on longer. It's not bad trading if you've already locked up your day's pay. But nevertheless, though, we'll look to see if this make the higher high coming up here over time. Grant out on the LIXT, I mean. There we go. All right, let's see this really continue to go at least in a moment. Chegg, man, pretty good move. I am impressed with Chegg. I will say that. I wasn't expecting that to make as good of a squeeze, and it did. You got to imagine that SOUN trade tanking with the AI stock. So, that wasn't even on our list to start. It was either AI or none of them. All right, you got the LIXT trade pulling back down right now. So off a 215 entry, 216 exactly, sorry. I would look for this to try and make the higher high soon. New iceberg on the bid just showing up at 230. So we'll see if this could hold. If it doesn't hold, then at that point, we'll be out. So actually, I'm going to move my stop up on this trade now, just 224. Ensure a little profit on the second half of my position, but either way, we locked up a good chunk on the first half, getting out at 241 from entry 215, 216. Allison, there you go. Nice trade from Allison inside our live trading room alongside Grant from before. Allison got 20 cents. She was in right there off of the 215 level. 219 is her entry. All righty there. Nice trade. Got the SPY pushing up a little bit more right now, trying to get back up closer to said highs. Carvana, I guess, going up a little bit here, but not really too thrilled on that one right now. I think Fausto would yell at me if I had that one up. No, I'm kidding. He's not a fan of it now after he killed it on that trade just earlier this week, or from the end of last week, losing track of my days. All right, here we go. LIXT. This thing's trying to make the higher high now. It seems trying to push back up towards the 245. I'd say it would really want to explode off of this area here around 240, 245-ish. Steve in and out too. Very nice from Steve, one of our gold students. In and out from 217 out at 248. Brian on the LAC. That was one from pre-market this morning. I thought it was going to be a lot better of a trade than it really came out to be today, Bri. Nice move right now, of course. So if you're in right now, I'm sure you're doing pretty good. LIXT, though, this is trying to make a good pop over the 250. Again, we're getting pretty much right there to the finish line here around 330 here. This stock ended up making such a big pop and drop for us back in April of last year. It ended up going from 168 up to 20. Oh, no, never mind. That's not even much. Got to get the right date. The stock went from 178 to 495, and then it ended up closing at 184. So you tell me if that's a good day or not. A complete pop and drop, meaning that it's not a swing trade. It's not something I would hold overnight. Even if it runs up tomorrow morning, I can care less if I'm wrong in that essence of gambling and whatever it may be. We don't gamble here. So this is simply a day trade. You got to make sure that you're out of this trade by 4 o'clock. With that said, though, the more and more this could break over 250, there is case to see this try and run higher. So, I'll tell you, actually, that day, I'm sorry, it didn't start off at 178. It actually started off at 250, which is exactly where it's at right now. In essence, that is a pretty big level in its own right. So the wise idea, truth be told, would be to get out in full right now. I think this is such a big level that, just either way, it makes sense to just get out. That said, if you are up your day's pay already, and if you're already done for the day for the most part, and this is kind of just more for academics, then that is where you could responsibly gamble and hope and hold, right? But you could see what happens, though, if you don't get your way. This already is shaking off pretty nastily from the 250. So that's where you can never go broke taking a profit. It's got to hold over 230 and 221, if anything. I'm not even a fan of the shakedown, but there's always risk involved holding on after a stock crashes right into an iceberg level. So, if you weren't up your day's pay yet, if you were just down on the day, that's where you get out. So, very wise to take the money for most of us here. Came close to stopping me out, actually, just a moment ago. Ooh, we got the SLQT trade trying to make a nice pop back up right now. Pardon me. You have resistance off that 143 level I was referencing earlier. So if that could get flipped into support, then there's pretty good cause to see that try and make the higher high into the close. So it was that 143 level, if anything. It was holding over it earlier pretty nicely. All right, so I think that we're pretty much all caught up on everything that's moving right now, folks, right? I mean, that LIXT, we crushed it on either way. SLQT, there could be more room to go on that. The SQL, not so much, so I'd stay away from that one at least. All right, keep an eye on this. I'll tell you right now, looking at the SLQT trade, there's not much resistance in theory until 156. Looking at the order book, at least about a 30,000 share order on the ESC sitting there. So if it holds over this 142, 143, there's really a good case for another pop. But if not, though, then it's all right. Just let it be then if it's not going to make that bigger move momentarily. We're pretty much right there now at 330. All right. All right, folks. I'm going to let Rich take care of you folks heading into the close here. So about 25 minutes to go. I'm getting a frog in my throat right now anyway, so good timing on that as well. For all of us inside the live trading room, you know where to find me tomorrow. Feel free to private chat me inside this very room tomorrow morning. Have safe trading. I hope everyone has a great afternoon, and we look forward to seeing everyone back tomorrow morning. If you have any trades that you'd like to send over, feel more than free to send it over right to Josh at c2trading.com. Of course, that goes more so to any of us that aren't a normal member inside our live trading room, because again, for any of us here right now, just a private chat away, instant message away. But for anyone that's on our social streams right now, if you're interested in joining our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the blue banner below on the stream right there to get yourself started, or call the number that's right there too as well. But otherwise, if you have any questions, feel more than free to shoot me a quick email, because if you're not joining us inside our live trading room, then you're not going to be able to private chat me. But otherwise, though, Josh at c2trading.com is the handle, though. Let me know if there's any questions or trades otherwise. Rich will be back on the mic, folks, in just a moment. All right, folks, take care and enjoy the rest of the day.